Good morning. Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. In the absence of Judge Albert Matriciani, Chairman of the Board, Commissioner Aaron Greenfield will serve as chair. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there being no preliminary matters on the AM docket, I'll call the first case. Harvey Macklin and Barbara Steinfelder, MAC 704 LLC, trading as Mackles Bar and Wine, 300 South Highland Avenue. This is a Class A of beer and wine license. Here for transfer of ownership. Please come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. If you could, please raise your right hand, and the court reporter will swear you in.
Please, do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes.
And could you please, for the record, state your names?
Barbara Steinfelder.
Harvey Macklin.
Okay. And good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for coming. You are here on an application to transfer the ownership
Yes, sir.
of the existing license. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you're purchasing, your experience in the industry?
We're purchasing a corner mini mart beer and wine store. As far as my retail experience, in the mid-'80s, I owned a full liquor store for about 2.5 years. And for the following 28 years after that, I was partners and owner of a retail check cashing store. So I have a lot of retail experience and the liquor store owner experience.
And Mr. Macklin, Spirit Liquors, is that the
Spirit World Liquors.
Spirit World Liquors, and that was located in Baltimore County?
Yeah, Essex.
And did you have any issues, any violations in the county?
Never.
Okay. And you, Ms. Steinfelder, you are a 20%, you have 20% ownership in this as well. What is
Yes.
your experience in this industry, and what is will be your role?
My role is,
Speak to the microphone.
Yes, please.
My
You're-
role is-
and I should mention, you're on video, it's on the record, so, you know, there's cameras, and I'm told we're actually more popular than BMZA hearings.
first of all, Harvey is my brother, and he asked me to help him out with the business, so I'm just kind of like a silent partner.
Okay. Mr. Macklin, will you be at this establishment, Mackles Beer and Wine? How often?
Every
What's your
day.
plan? Every day.
Every day.
And will you have any other employees?
3
3 employees?
at the moment.
At the moment. Are they current employees now?
Yes.
Okay, from the existing owner?
1 is from the existing owner. 2 were employees of mine in the check cashing stores. My store manager is here with me. She's been with me for 18 years.
Oh, great. Would you like to bring her up? And
If you have any questions for her,
all right. Now, are you familiar with the rules and regulations with respect to buying from distributors and certainly carding
oh yes,
minors?
absolutely.
Okay.
Minors can be carded if they don't look 26.
We usually like to say 45.
Well, then they'd have to card me.
Well,
And that's okay.
yeah. No, but yes, you understand. We take those things incredibly seriously.
So do we.
Great. There also appears to be a live entertainment on the existing license. Did I read that right?
There is no live entertainment.
Yeah, I saw something on it. Let me just.
Unless it's me telling jokes.
No.
If I go in and sing,
I'd enjoy that. I thought I saw that. That could be my error. Live entertainment approved, and I have it on 11/6/15. Is that right?
Not for this
Well,
location.
that
Okay. It must be a different location. My error.
I do sing there sometimes.
That wouldn't work if you are a silent partner.
Doesn't work, okay.
Commissioners, do you have any question?
I just have one. This property was posted on June the 26th Has anyone from the community contacted you in reference to concerns?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
Have you attempted to contact anyone in the community?
Well, no, I haven't contacted anybody in the community because the store, as is, has been in existence for well over 30 years. So the store itself is a member of the community. I brought the seller with me. I brought the property owner with me.
Terrific.
If you all have any questions for them. But the property owner owned and ran the store for 30 years before the current owner.
And I do note, to your point, that there was a violation some time ago, but other than that, the record's pretty good. But though, to Commissioner Jones' point, I would encourage you to reach out to the community association and stay engaged. They're very active and very concerned, so I would just leave that for your
Will do.
consideration. Commissioner Moore?
I had a question on the layout of the store. Your application says that you're going to be using, and I'm quoting, front/middle floor, and I'm not quite sure what you're saying there.
I'll explain it to you.
Please do.
The way that I see it.
Okay.
It is a end unit row house, probably built eons ago as part of the community of Highlandtown.
Okay.
It's at the corner of Highland Avenue and Gulf. And Gulf Street, kind of on the side, slants down a little. So in effect, it's what do you call it? The house that,
Level?
yeah, split level row house. So the ground level, the front door is at the ground level
Okay.
on Highland Avenue. You walk in, and the store proper is about 35 feet from the front door and about maybe 15, 20 feet wide. And then there's a door that goes to the back, and it actually goes down 5 steps to the next level, but in the back, the way the Gulf Street goes, and that actually is not in use at this point.
Okay. And you're not planning
And
to
there's
use it?
also a floor above
Yeah.
the store proper, which is being rented out as an apartment.
So what's the middle?
The middle is the store proper.
So you're going to use the front, which is like the entrance that you just described?
Yes,
And then
yes,
the middle
but-
is that little up the steps?
The middle of the house, there is a side door and a small foyer with steps leading to the upstairs apartment. The store proper ends at the door that leads to that little foyer.
Okay, so the store that's in existence today is going to stay? You're not planning any changes?
That's correct.
So the other question I had was the drawing that you gave us. There's a lot of open space. There's like shelves along the wall, and then there's lots of open. Is there a plan to add shelving or
Actually,
leave it as it is?
I removed shelving. I'm adding 3 refrigeration units, actually 2 refrigeration units and a freezer. On the right side, I actually removed the shelving and paneled it. It really looks nice now, you should see. And the middle, I put actually brought a table from home. I guess it's about 6 feet long and maybe 2.5 feet wide as a keynote table, and I bought some chairs to go with it. So that's actually my middle use at this point.
So have people can play Keno?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have the sale came with the store came with a lottery machine.
Okay.
I'm in the process of getting my lottery license. I spoke to the lottery recently, and they told me this license comes first.
Okay. So lottery machine will be in the middle. Gotcha. The only other question I had was, you were in the liquor business, and then you left it, did check cashing for 28 years, and now you want to come back. Why do you want to come back?
You want to know the truth?
Yes, I do wanna know the
I'm gonna tell
truth.
you exactly why. I can't afford to stay retired.
Okay.
And when my partner and I sold our check cashing business, I had just enough money to buy a little place for myself.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And then for your sister, My brother has 7 sisters, so he gets lots and lots of attention and lots of support, and he would love for his sisters to be silent. We're not.
Not too sorry.
Yeah, and I know you're not either. And with this kind of business, it's hard. You're a 20% owner, which is significantly more than what we often see, which is 1%. So what is your plan with respect to the business and your involvement and your presence?
Anything he wants. This is really his, and I love him, and I'll do anything for him.
Okay.
And she's been telling me what to do for about 50 years now.
Well, that's what sisters do. I mean, what you trying to
Exactly.
say?
If he
Exactly.
wears the right clothes.
Yeah.
But we are
Okay.
at the later stages of our life, in our 60s, we are very close.
It's wonderful.
Even with our little brother, too. Our older brother passed away last year, but we're
Sorry
a
to
close
hear that.
family.
We don't have, our parents are not around anymore.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you very much. Thanks for answering, and I appreciate the candor.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
None.
Based upon the testimony and the evidence before us, I would vote to approve the transfer of this license.
Thank you.
And I do as well.
Thank you.
I concur.
Again, I can't underscore enough. Please extend
Reach
yourself
out
to
to
the
the community.
Highlandtown, specifically the Highlandtown Community Association. They're very active and very engaged, and they can be an asset.
It's my neighborhood now. I will reach out.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Any exhibits?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you. Just come right over.
Mr. Mackler, this way, please. Just stand right there. We'll be right with you. Slip up. Jung Sik Kim and Juan Rivera, Kim and Son Company LLC, trading as Utah Market, 1701 Utah Place. This is a Class A Beer, Wine, and Liquor License, here for an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Abraham Harrell on behalf of Kim & Son LLC, trading as Utah Market at 1701 Utah Place. Please excuse my voice, a little bit of a cold. If I may proffer.
Sure. Should we swear in the witnesses?
Sure.
Counsel?
Please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and information I believe?
I do.
Counselor, I get your last name again?
It's Hurdle, H-U-R-D-L-E. Thank you.
Counsel?
With me is Mr. Kim and Mr. Rivera. They're going to be the two owners and operators of the location at 1701 Utah Place. 1701 Utah Place is actually and please correct me if I'm wrong, it's a large condo building. It's been around, it's a very old building. This store actually operates within that kind of condo development. So it is very much within and a part of the community. I actually live 2.5 blocks from this location, so I'm familiar with the location in the area pretty intimately. Mr. Kim has gone through, I believe, the TAM certification. All the inspections are completed. Everything that needs to be done to complete the transfer of this license actually is ready and in place to go. The hearing is the last step for us at this time. Mr. Kim is aware of the rules and regulations of the Liquor Board, indicating that he must card anybody who looks under 45, certainly card anybody if possible, and to ideally uphold any of the rules and regulations that the Liquor Board may have in terms of keeping loitering down. Again, this is a small store. They're going to operate from 9 to 10, 6 days a week. It isn't a store that operates, particularly late. It primarily serves an area within a couple of blocks. I actually wasn't familiar with it until about 2 months ago, and then tried to make myself more familiar, even though I am about 2 blocks away from this location. It operates that kind of quietly and in the background.
It's located inside, if I may speak, located on the bottom floor of a historical building. So by rule, we can't put any kind of signage outside. So it's just local foot traffic, very intimate, like Mr. Hurdle said.
And sir, can you identify yourself?
Sure, my name is Jong Kim. I'm
And Mr. Kim plans to be there predominantly just about every hour they're open. Mr. Rivera will help out on nights and weekends when he isn't there. And he'll also be TAM certified as required. Should anything arise, they'll be happy to deal with it with regards to the community. Having spoken to some of my neighbors, most of them weren't even aware that a place of this nature existed in the area. Again, there's no signage. It really is just word of mouth and foot traffic that kind of brings people in. There's a significant number of units within that condo building. Otherwise, in that neighborhood is mostly row homes and things of that nature. Did the board have any questions?
Yeah, I'm sure we do. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure.
Mr. Kim?
Yes, sir.
Can you speak a little bit about your background, as well as, can you speak to your background and particularly of interest to the board, I think, is any involvement you've had in this industry previously?
Sure. My family, including my direct parents and my cousins, they've all owned liquor stores since they've immigrated to the States. I've been helping out with that proactively since I was old enough to. In between that, I did go to college, and I was an account manager for a local IT firm called Edge Hosting. But as you know, there's a zoning issue going on right now, and my parents' store is involved in it, and their business will be dissolved within 2 years. So as the eldest son, I felt it's my duty to actually come in and kind of, figure out a business plan to help take care of my parents as they are around the 60s and 70s. So that's my plan here. Once again, I'm an account manager. I feel that I am a professional, and I will conduct this new endeavor as a professional.
I appreciate that very much.
I did speak to Mr. Kim also about making sure he orders exclusively from wholesalers as opposed to any possibility of buying from other stores.
Of course.
And again, there aren't many stores in that area. The only one I can think of nearby is Linden Lounge, and probably want to avoid that one if possible.
And Mr. Kim, you live in Glenarm in the county, is that right?
That is correct. However, I did purchase a property down in Canton so that, I can be a resident of the city moving forward. I don't have to, worry about trekking back and forth from the county.
Sure. And will you continue, maybe I missed this, will you continue your current position with the IT company?
No, actually, I left that company about 1.5 years ago, and I've been proactively working at larger liquor stores, trying to learn the business from the inside. I worked at the one next to Wegmans up in Hunt Valley, and I also worked at a liquor store called Town and Country to learn the managerial aspect of it, and I feel like I'm ready to go.
Sounds like you're doing all the right things. I appreciate that. I don't think I have it. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I see this little footnote you have here. I personally enjoy what? Good what? What do you like to drink?
I like good bourbons and scotch, single malt scotches, sir. And that, you're referring to the letter that I did proactively reach out to the Bolton Hill Community Association. Unfortunately, they're in a 2-month break right now, so I didn't get anything back.
No questions.
The location is currently open and operating.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and I'm asking because there was a note that there was an inspection in January 2016, and it suggested that the location was closed, but do you have any information about that, or?
I believe that had to do with the previous owners, and they, something with the liquor, the license that said they had deli, and they've since shut it down, and they've shut down the ice machine associated with it. I don't think that pertains to me. Since then, I did follow the occupancy notes and then go through the fire, health, and the actual building inspections, and we all passed those.
And then I wanted to show you, this is what I have in my record as to the layout, which is
Isn't that showing
not
up?
clear at all. So do you have a,
Provide a decent copy. I'm not sure what happened when it was, I guess, copied multiple
We need
times.
photocopies, yeah.
We can certainly provide the board
you-
with the floor plan, absolutely. I don't know that I have, I believe that my copy is probably, unfortunately, just as,
The true copy you guys, the commission should have.
oh, okay, so
Yeah,
the
is that a little
commission has
better?
a better version. It's still light.
That's actually the actual copy. I apologize.
Okay. All right, well, it's a lot better. I mean, this is,
sorry, yeah, we
This is a lot
we
better than
submitted
what
this
I
one. I
have.
think that unfortunately,
Okay.
the copy machine may have
okay.
That's the actual
drawn us
copy.
than
Yeah.
needed.
So so you feel you're ready to do this? You've certainly been basically interning, learning the ropes. You got it. You're going to get certified for selling alcohol.
I actually
Actually,
did.
certified.
You've already
yeah, I
done
got
that.
done.
Oh, okay.
I've
look
been
at
very
that.
proactive.
I can see the congratulations from here.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, that's all the
Um,
questions I have.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
And just to Mr. Rivera,
Yeah.
you will be there as needed, I understand, nights and weekends?
Yeah.
And you will be getting the appropriate certifications, you understand the rules and regulations, the carding of minors, anyone under 45. Okay, good. If there are no more questions, Based upon the testimony, the proffer, the evidence before us, I would vote to approve the transfer of the ownership.
I approve.
I approve.
Thank you, Commissioners. Would you be excused? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's one exhibit.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I have applicant's exhibit number 1, a outreach letter to the Bolton Hill Community Association.
Stephen Saffron, S&M Tavern LLC, trading as Skeeters, 2506 Washington Boulevard. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license here for an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
One second, excuse me. Are we okay? Pace? Okay, good. Thank you.
Morning, members of the board. My name is Scott Tinney. Last name is spelled Tinney. Here on behalf of Mr. Saffron, filling in for David Cohen, who originally helped him with the application.
Great. Mr. Saffron, if you could raise your right hand and we'll swear you in.
Sir, do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes, sir. All right, thank you, members of the board. Mr. Saffron is the 100% owner of S&M Tavern LLC, which is the owner of the bar. It's going to be trading as Skeeters, which has been operating under that trade name since about 1994, is our understanding. The building, the bar itself is on the first floor of the tavern area. There is no live entertainment. It's simply beer, wine, liquor. Mr. Saffron doesn't live far from the bar itself. He lives on 1147 Sargent Street, so he's familiar with the neighborhood, been there a great deal of time. He's also been working as a bartender for the past 12 years at another bar. His father is also in the bar business, and he's been helping him kind of learning the ropes with that business. Mr. Saffron did learn recently that a employee who is no longer an employee at Skeeters apparently was before the board for serving a minor. That person, according to Mr. Saffron, as far as he knows, is not working there and will not be rehired by Mr. Saffron. He's obviously trained, given his experience in the bar industry as a bartender, takes his duties extremely seriously, and he's only 35 years old, so being a bartender for 12 years, that's been most of his adult life in this industry. Members of the board have questions.
We actually, just so you know, we don't necessarily encourage the termination of employees who serve minors. We sometimes believe that, they understand and they're often remorseful, and it's a good lesson. So that's not necessarily a requirement of ours, but I appreciate your message. Mr. Saffron, so I understand that the previous owner is still operating it. Are you working on a transition with the previous owner?
Yes.
Okay. And you are aware of the rules and regulations. You live close to the establishment, which is a plus in my book. And we have no letters of opposition. Let me ask you, I know, have you worked at all, reached out at all to the community organization?
Yes, I did. There's a church right down the street. I talked to Miss Jenkins, and she said there's no problem with it. She wouldn't give me a letter, but she said that there's no trouble there. She has no problem with it at all.
Great. I'd encourage you to sort of stay connected to that organization. The communication is absolutely critical.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I had a question. You're a bartender now. Where are you working?
Actually, at Skeeters now.
Oh, at Skeeters.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So have you been at Skeeters for a while?
Since August of 16.
Okay. And before that, where did you work?
Smiley's Tavern. My dad owns that. And
Somalis?
Smiley's Tavern.
Oh, Smiley's.
Yes.
I think we know Smiley's. For some
Ramsey
reason.
Street.
Where?
1525 Ramsey Street. He's owned that since 2010, and I've worked there since then. And then before that, I worked at Sid's Tavern for 5 or 6 years.
Okay. And in all your long career, have you ever had any violation related to alcohol?
No.
Okay. You might not be able to answer this question. I think maybe this is more for our administration. But I saw that there was a fine. I think that it was assessed in January 2017 for this location, and there was some back and forth as to whether or not that had been paid. And I'm not clear.
Yes, it was paid.
It was paid.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Those are the questions that I have.
Commissioner Jones?
I'm good, thank you.
One point I would raise, we often see violations on this kind of license of BD7 in our afternoon dockets, and in particular, it is a requirement that the tavern remains open with the packaged goods store. We often see situations where someone comes into the establishment, asks to go into the tavern, and the person at the packaged goods store says it's not open. They ultimately will get violated. I would be very sensitive to that because I think it is, some believe that is an incredible competitive advantage, and if you're not following the license, it can become a problem for you. So to the degree you can avoid that, I strongly
Yes,
encourage
it's
it.
right when you walk in the door, the liquor is right behind the bar, so it's not a no liquor store attached to it. It's just the bar and a couple shelves behind the bar with the liquor on it, so you can't even get nowhere else.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Okay, great.
There's nothing else. I would vote to approve the transfer of this ownership of the ownership to Mr. Saffron.
Okay, I do as well. I vote
Thank
to
you.
approve.
I concur.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Excused.
Michael Seguin, Charm City Swing LLC, trading as Mobtown Ballroom, 861 Washington Boulevard. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment. Please come forward.
Good morning. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, Michael Seguin.
Good morning, Mr. Seguin. If you could please raise your right hand. And
Sir, do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and information?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Michael Seguin is the current 100% owner of Charm City Swing LLC, which trades as Mobtown Ballroom. You, I'm sure, have heard of Mobtown Ballroom. It's a great asset to the west side. They, in addition to offering live entertainment, offer dance classes. They probably taught hundreds of people how to dance in West Baltimore. And Michael is a dance instructor. He's a dance instructor. He runs the whole show, along with his manager, Shannon Sullivan.
Sarah
Sullivan. Sorry about that. and they have just an incredible relationship with the community. Ms. Gilkinson and Mr. Seguin decided to part ways, and so Mr. Seguin is going on 100%. I have some letters from the citizens of Pigtown and Pigtown Main Street in support of this request.
thank you. Proceed.
And nothing's changing. In fact, Mobtown Ballroom has an inventory that's probably smaller than most row house bars, $5,000 maybe in inventory at any given time. The alcohol service is really just ancillary. It's a small part of the business. And obviously, in some cases, a little liquid courage is a good thing if you're about to go on a dance floor. So I would ask that you approve the transfer under the Article 4210A. It's clear that there's a continuing public need and desire for this place, that they are non-offensive, have any impact on the existing licensees in the area, and quite the contrary, they've been a blessing to the neighborhood, and I think those letters reflect that. So I thank you.
I do note that that since the current owners have owned the license, there have been no, according to my review, no violations whatsoever. So
That's correct.
Applaud you for that. The only comment I have, and doesn't sound to me like it's an issue, is the BD7, which I said previously with respect to making sure that it may not be applicable in your establishment, but making sure if you have a packaged goods that the tavern itself is open as well, but that doesn't seem to be applicable here.
As part of our agreement with the community, we don't do packaged goods.
Great. And so is there an existing MOU with the community?
Yes.
Yeah, from 2014. I think Commissioner Jones approved that back in April.
He actually remembers it vividly.
That's correct, Mr.
You
Chairman.
wouldn't throw that on me, would you?
I wouldn't do it.
And of course, this license also has live entertainment, and you're seeking the continuation of that,
Absolutely, yeah.
which is critical, I understand, to your business model. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
So just for clarity's sake, the MOU that was agreed to in 2014, that's going to stay a part of this license?
Staying in effect, I reached out to, I actually went to both meetings recently to clarify that the business wasn't changing and that we still stand by everything that we said before.
When people see those orange signs posted, some people get a little nervous. So
Of
they don't want to
course.
lose. They don't want to lose good tenants and good operators.
Right. So the only other question, I think that this is, I'm just so literal. This is going to go to Michael Seguin exclusively, is what it says in the application. That means that you'll just be the only person on the application?
Yes, ma'am.
On the license,
On
yes.
on the license.
Currently, there's
Right.
Gilkinson and Seguin on the license.
And so she's going to come off, you're going to stay on. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds fascinating.
I'll let you know anything you want. You can come on by.
Excuse me, what type of dance?
That was the next question.
We do a number of things. One of our biggest programs is swing dancing and Lindy Hop, so jazz stuff, partner dancing.
Wife might stop loving me again if I
Aw. If that's all it takes, sign up.
It's affordable. Come on by.
Listen, I don't know anyone who doesn't love Commissioner Jones, for the record. I mean, that's, man. Well, if there's nothing further, I would vote to support this transfer of ownership with the continuation of live entertainment and with the MOU it's remaining attached to the license.
I do as well.
So do I.
Best of luck, and we do have
Thank you.
exhibits. Mr. Akers? Thank you.
Exhibit number 1, letter of support from Pigtown Main Street. Exhibit number 2, a letter of support from citizens of Pigtown.
Andre Mazelin, Baby LLC, trading as The Room, 800 St. Paul Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for request to add outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. How do you pronounce your last name?
Maslin, the E's silent.
Okay. If you could raise your right hand and
Sir, do you swear or affirm, under the penalties of perjury, that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I do.
Mr. Maslin, you are in front of us to request the addition of outdoor table service at your current location at 800 St. Paul Street. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We do, so let me, have you seen, we have received one letter in opposition to this request. Are you familiar with that letter?
I am not.
Let me provide that copy to you. Here you go, sir. And as you're reviewing it, the letter is from Miss Angela Page with photos. Objecting to the outdoor table service location because of the heavily used bus stop, and I think there's concern about the space between where the prospective outdoor tables are to be located and how close the bus and the patrons will be to those tables. Can you respond to that, please?
Yeah, sure. We addressed this in the zoning hearing, which was approved a couple months ago. So I am in agreement with the request of that body that I not take up more. This is a 14-foot wide sidewalk. That I not take up more than 4 feet of it, which leaves 10 feet for people to pass. So I think there's more than it's a pretty wide sidewalk. My opinion, and I think that of the zoning board, is that there's adequate room for people to make their way.
And I appreciate you raising the the Department of Planning and the BMZA memo and request, I understand from our information that the Department of Planning has recommended that that tables be allowed there and with specific restrictions. And those restrictions, if I could, a minimum of 9 feet on the sidewalk along St. Paul Street must remain clear and unobstructed for pedestrian use.
Yes.
Capacity of the outdoor seating area cannot be more than 8 tables and 28 patrons.
Yes.
Tables will be limited to those that can seat 2 or 4 patrons in order to be kept up against the wall of the building.
Yes.
And there will be no outdoor bar, no
Correct.
outdoor music, live entertainment of any kind, and all patrons must be seated for dining and served by wait staff. Is that your understanding of what the Department of Planning has?
Yes, it is.
And I assume you're willing to allow that to be attached to your license?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Mr. Maslin, how long have you owned this license?
We opened in May of last year, and I think the license was purchased the previous year, so about 2 years now.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions as I'm going through the?
Yeah, just one. I'm looking at the layout of where the outdoor tables are. Is
Yes.
there a true diagram of where the tables will be located?
I don't have a diagram with me, but I could.
My copy.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like for you to pass it back when you get finished with it, please.
So where you see the tables represented in this picture is about up to that first line, off center to the left.
But are the tables where they're going to be? That's
Yes, yes.
Should also note that the Historical and Architectural Preservation Division has reviewed and as well, and also I think incorporates their support within the Department of Planning recommendations.
Sure. Can you tell us what your plan is for serving? How many employees do you have?
5.
5?
Yes.
And can you describe your plan for serving food and alcohol outdoors?
It's counter order, so people will come up to the counter, tickets go to the kitchen, as well as to the bar, and we will, for outside, we'll run the beverages out as well as the food. For inside, we call people to pick it up. Just like you go to Starbucks, they call your name and you pick up your coffee. For outside, we'll do it a little bit differently because we do have to serve the tables outside, so we'll run the beverages and food outside.
Now, have you had problems with people, bus riders in the past? Have there been any issues between them and your business operations?
Not bus riders in particular, but we have had people come in who are, disoriented or lost, not particularly bus riders, just like any business in Baltimore City that's open. People stumble in, but I don't know if they're coming from the bus or they're just walking around.
But I really was concerned about the letter that we received from the person who is a bus rider, transit rider, who had concerns and felt that this was an effort by you to interfere with the use of the bus service.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm providing outdoor seating for patrons. I think folks are used to leaning against the building just because it's there and it's been there for a while. And that's going to take a little adjustment in where they stand for the bus, but it's not there to disrupt their usage of the bus. And I think we're only taking up, a third of that sidewalk.
It looks like you're going to have 5 tables, 20 people, and you're right at the bus stop. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
So where people would mill about and wait for the bus, they'll still be able to do that, but they would be right up against the people sitting down at your tables. Do I have that correct?
They'll be next to them. Yeah, they'll be next to them. I'm going to put some kind of a stanchion out to kind of divide the two areas. Just to, you know, keep my people away from the bus riders and the bus riders away from the tables. Just to kind of define that area a little bit more.
Now, in the time that you've had this license, you've been operating this business for about a year, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And in that time, have there been issues with people leaning against your building where you've tried to move them and they wouldn't move, or have there been any interchanges
No,
with bus riders?
no.
And your hours of outdoor service would be what?
Till 10 p.m.
Starting at what time?
We open at 8 in the morning.
So you're going to be
8.
serving alcohol outdoors from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m.? Is that the plan?
The tables will be out if someone wants a glass of wine at 10 or 11 a.m. We would probably serve it. It's not common. We're open now, and our liquor license goes from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. currently, and I think I've had one person order a glass of wine before noon in the last year.
Okay. And with the changes with Baltimore Link, this bus stop is still in use?
Yes.
That has not changed?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Jones?
Good, thank you.
So, Mr. Maslin, I would just encourage you to obviously continue to work with the community. I'd even consider reaching out to MTA, assuming we approve this.
Yeah.
Because I suspect this issue won't go away, and it's critical that you manage this in a way that it doesn't become a problem, again, assuming we approve this.
Okay, will do.
And so based upon the information presented, the testimony, the Department of Planning memo, I would vote to approve this request for outdoor table service.
I concur. It appears that all legal steps have been taken to add this use to the application, to the permit. And I like the comment he made about separating his patrons from the public, and I approve.
So I vote no, and I want to tell you why. I'm persuaded by the letter in opposition that was submitted. The interference with the use and access to the bus, I think this is a recipe for disaster. And I understand why you want to do it. I understand that there's the approvals from the BMZA and there's approvals from the architectural or the historic organization. But I find the letter in opposition to be persuasive, even though this person is not here. Apparently she has to work.
Okay.
But it just sounds like a recipe for conflict, and that it's been driven by your desire. And so I vote no.
Commissioner Moore's point is well taken, and I'd encourage you to, again, reach out to the community. If you're able to reach out to Ms. Page and she's willing, I'd encourage you to have an open line of communication. So with that, you are approved with the conditions that the Department of Planning has set forth.
Okay.
It's memo, and their exhibit, Mr. Akris?
Exhibit number 1, letter of opposition from Ms. Page.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just move to the side.
Mr. Chairman, the board is in recess until 1 p.m.
I can make my 1:20.
Are you gonna get lunch?
I'll be back here at 1. I do something in life.
That's right.
It's the first one. Gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the quiet or off mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, there being a preliminary matter on the PM docket, case number 3, 1220 West North Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license here for violation of 4.20 CII, operating a tavern at all times. That matter has been postponed. Any other preliminary matters, Mr. Chairman?
Nope.
Mr. Akers? Number 2, number 1 on the PM docket, N. Tay Kill and Gum Ja Kill, J&T Liquors, Inc., trading as Wally's Liquors, 3101-03 Wally Avenue. This is a Class BD7, a beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.20 CII, Class BD7 licensees, open and operating tavern at all times on April the 27th, 2017. Please come forward.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
If you could raise your right hand, and reporter at the end will swear you in and make clear your name, please.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes.
And do you have their names? What's your
For the record.
Actually, my name's Anna Kill. Kumja Kill's my mother. I'm the daughter of Inte Kill. This is my father.
Sir, your name?
Integil.
Okay.
And my name is Thomas Akris, Deputy Executive Secretary. I have a preliminary request,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
The agency, on behalf of the agency, I'd like to request a postponement in this case as our fact witness, Detective Akawande, is unavailable. That came to us late. He's unavailable for testimony today. He's in in-service training.
Okay. Do you have any, do you understand what,
Yeah.
so the commission is asking for a postponement. Do you have any position on a postponement? Or do you support the case being postponed?
Yeah, 지금 그때 말해가지고 다음에 또 와서
나가서 끝냈으면 그건 안 되나?
It's impossible to go on with the hearing today without Detective
It's not impossible, but I think I have to make the decision, and so if there's a reason why you want to proceed versus postpone, if you could tell me, I'd appreciate it.
I mean, it's hard for me and my father to come to the court together because, I mean, I have work.
Sure.
And if possible, if we would like to, go and proceed with the proceedings today, if possible at all.
All right, so it'd be an inconvenience for you if we tried to reschedule around your schedule for another. Just be honest.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna deny the motion in this case. I think, I understand. So if we could proceed.
Okay. All right.
I agree. It's the right decision.
Now, Ms. Kill.
Yes.
Will this be an admission of the charges, or will this be an admission, or will it be a contested case?
I'm sorry, can you make it easier for me?
Are you here to admit to the charges and say it did happen, or are you here to say it didn't happen? And that is a separate question from what your defense is, what your reasons might be for what had occurred.
I mean, of course it did happen according to, the protocol of whatever the government is saying. It's, the bar is supposed to be open at 2, but, we want to explain why.
So I appreciate that. So you would, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so please correct me. So what I'm hearing you say is you're going to admit to the charge, yes, but you will then
give you an explanation.
Give an explanation. That's perfect. So with that, I think we don't need the detective or...
As long as their exhibits are introduced into evidence.
Okay. And how do we do that?
make a motion
Yeah,
to the exhibits.
we're going to make a motion to include the exhibits into the record.
And I can call out the exhibits
Please.
afterwards.
So maybe you can just give a
Yeah,
brief
I'm gonna-
description of what happened.
Yeah, I'm going to give a summary, but I want to make sure. So what we know is that on April 27th, according to the agency and the police department, at approximately 1:25 a.m., members of the police department's vice unit and members of the commission's inspection division conducted an undercover investigation of this establishment to determine if staff would be able to access the tavern portion of the licensed premises. At that time, the detective entered the establishment in an undercover capacity, attempted to gain access, and was informed by an employee that the bar was closed for the night. At that point, the undercover officer, detective, left the establishment, informed the vice unit and the commission inspection division outside. They then came in and cited the licensee for not for its BD7 not remaining open and operating at all times.
Yes.
So, what is your explanation?
So our explanation is, yes, the detective came in around 1:25, and he wanted to gain not enrollment, admission, access to the bar. We denied, or our employee denied it, because that's our closing time. We close usually right at the dot at 2 o'clock, since we do own a bar. And we have to, at that time, because we are short in employing, short of employees, we have a bar, and then we also have a cash register, or the area where people can buy without gaining access to the bar. So they have to go back and forth, and at 1:30 a.m., when we close the bar by 2, that's their time to sort of pack everything and get ready to go. And of course, we're also concerned about our safety when our establishment is in Baltimore City, in a area where there's a lot of gunfights, and we do have a lot of people that actually died at our bar. So, it's sort of a safety issue for us as well. If it was maybe in the daytime, that we don't deny access, but we do screen. We screen people just to, see if they are from our neighborhood or where they're coming from. We want to know, and when somebody comes in at 1:25 a.m. and it's closing time, we're.
Okay, so I do note that you have a history there's one instance of a similar charge back in 2014, and then there are additional charges separate from the BD7 closure in 2008 and 2010.
Okay.
I am concerned about the fact that it was 1:25 and you don't close until 2. I don't think that's an effective explanation. I'm sure you'll hear from Commissioner Moore her concerns about these BD7s remaining
Sure.
open as they're required to, and it is a competitive advantage for you.
Sure.
Versus others.
Of course.
With respect to the public safety concern, which we do hear frequently, I would encourage you to work with our inspection staff. They can talk to you about certain protocols with logs and other things to at least help document
Okay.
some issues. Really, we do try and make sure that licensees in your situation have some guidance on some of these issues to the degree we can assist you. Commissioner Moore?
Well, I guess I do find that the BD7 violations are the ones that sort of are really troublesome to me because they're so easy to avoid. But here's a question for you. Given your testimony, you've admitted that this happened. You've explained that one of your concerns is ongoing is your personal safety, that you screen to see, who can come in, who isn't allowed in. The combinations suggest to me that maybe you should not have the tavern portion. Have you given any thought to getting a different license that does not have the tavern portion?
That is actually a good point, but no, we have not, because having the bar, obviously, it means that, we have more hours than other
Exactly.
bars. So, of course, it's an advantage for us as a business to have longer hours. And no, we have not thought of changing our license, but,
It
I
just
think-
seems like a lot of risk that you're willing to take. I mean, your own testimony, you're afraid.
right,
and
it's a
so-
risk. I mean, it is a risk every day, it's not an easy task, and it's kind of hard, as a daughter to.
Do you work there? You do?
Yes.
Okay, and of course, your father is working there full-time as well. Have you ever thought of whenever you're denying access to the bar area that you close the packaged goods area? Because that's really what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, and it's not, I'm not laughing, but that's really what you're supposed to do.
Of course, we know of the laws and things like that, and I think,
Yeah, I mean, the realities of the business it's difficult. And, you've been here before on a similar violation. And I'm just trying to think, what is it that you all can do so that and this is not why you're here today. I'm just really thinking out loud, like what you can do to enhance your sense of safety and stay within the law, because that's really important.
I think about like 5-10 years ago, we did have like a security guard who always screened people at the door, even before the bar. But now, we don't have that, and that was like the most, I guess, secure way to have, like screenings and have people, really examine like who's coming in. But I mean, we accept everybody who comes in at the bar. It's not like, we don't let people come in, but like I said, we are, concerned about our safety as well. And also, I mean, it's not a good explanation, but that's the only, issue that I can think of is, at 1:30, we want to close the bar and we want to go home. We work 7 days a day.
Right.
From 10 to 12 o'clock in the morning, and
it's because your hours, you open at 10 a.m.?
10 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering my questions. Appreciate it.
I'm on the same page as Commissioner Moore. If your operating hours are from 10 to 2, and you're willing to keep the packaged goods section open to 2, then you have to keep the tavern area open to 2 also.
Yep.
And the thing of screening folks that you allow to go into the tavern area, if you're not looking for age, then I have a problem with that also. Everyone is entitled who meets the requirements to go into that tavern area.
Yes.
If you open to 2, I mean, you gotta serve to 2. And that's the only thing. I have nothing else to say more than if you have some concerns.
Of course.
Call the liquor board, identify your concerns, and see how they can help you.
Okay.
Detective Gatto, and I know you haven't been sworn in, and Inspector Chrysomalis, you've not been sworn in. Can we just swear them in case there's anything?
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and information?
I do.
Do either of you have anything to add? In particular, was the licensee cooperative, the employee?
Yes. There was no issues.
Okay. Thank you. So if there's nothing further, I do find a violation of Rule 4.20C, small 2, in this case. And given your history, also recognizing these are some legitimate concerns you have, I would fined a violation or assess a violation of $1,500.
I join in that.
I agree.
So we found the violation, we imposed a penalty, a fine of $1,500, and then there's an administrative fee of $125. And you said a lot of things this afternoon that deserve some exploring separate. They don't relate to this violation, but they deserve some discussion. And we want businesses to thrive, and we want businesses to do well. You got to do it within the law.
Of course.
And some of the concerns you raised are ones that I would hope that you would come back and sit down and talk to the liquor board and get some good advice on how to make yourselves feel safer in your own business, or make changes that in your business practices. Okay?
All right.
All right.
You have 30 days to pay. And please, I can't stress it enough, please feel free to reach out to the staff on some of these issues to see how we can help you. Okay?
30 days.
Exhibits.
Yes,
for the
exhibits,
records.
please.
Exhibit number 1, an investigation report written by Inspector Chris Amalis. Exhibit number 2, a police report written by Detective Gatto.
Okay.
Tim, you good?
Yeah, we're good.
Jose Luna, Casa Luna Sports Bar, Inc., trading as Casa Luna Sports Bar, 500 South Lehigh Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 3.08A as an alcohol, sanitation, and safety on April the 29th, 2017. Please come forward.
Good afternoon. I have to recuse myself on this matter. Commissioner Moore.
Okay. All right. All right. So everyone who has something to do with this case, could you come forward and then raise your right hand to be sworn, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I do.
All right. So why don't we start with the, tell us what we have here.
Yeah, excuse me.
Uh,
This is my wife. Ella me.
I'll interpret for my husband.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
My
All right. So you're going, what is your name?
Jeanette Smith Luna.
Jeanette Smith Luna is going to interpret for Jose. So can you give her the interpreter's oath? Are you able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raise your hand. Do you swear that you will correctly and truthfully interpret from English to Spanish, is that the correct language?
I will.
And Spanish to English, all the matters that are presented?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
All right. So will you be admitting the charges or challenging them?
He is admitting with explanation.
He's going to admit with an explanation. And you do agree with that, Mr. Luna?
Que tú estás diciendo que sí, tú tienes culpa, pero con explicación.
See? Yes. Okay, so can you just give me a general explanation of what happened, and then we'll go forward with the explanation.
Detective Abraham Gatto, Baltimore City Police Vice Unit. Out of respect of this board, I'd like to mention that there's never been a time that I've been at Casa Luna where I've had an English-speaking issue with the licensee, Mr. Casa Luna. I'd like to put that on the record. First and foremost, on 4/29/2017, at approximately 02:05 hours, this is 2 a.m., myself, Chief Fosler, Inspector Chris Amalis, Agent Chris Amalis, excuse me, Inspector Perez, and other members of my unit, vice unit, were conducting checks for bars that were closing at 2 a.m. This time we came upon 500 South Lehigh Street, which is very well known to me, Casa Luna. At this time, we responded to the front door where we found it to be locked. We could hear individuals speaking inside of the bar. At this time, Agent Chris Amalis walked to the right rear side of the building with myself. He went up a small flight of stairs and tried to access a side rear door, which was also locked. I, however, stayed down on the cement level of the street and found a swinging basement door that was open. I illuminated it with a flashlight, observed there was a mattress right inside the door, personal items for someone around this area, around the area of the mattress. We eventually were able to gain entry. The whole time at the doors, we could hear individuals talking inside. We were eventually able to gain entry. We found Mr. Jose Luna, who is the licensee, and one of his security guards seated at the bar with 2 open Coronas. They were had a large sum of currency in front of them that they looked to be counting or distributing for the night's business. At this time, I asked Mr. Luna if Agent Chris Mouse and I could observe his storage area, which is in the basement. He agreed. Agent Chris Mouse began walking down this dark stairways, at which time we hear another individual call out to us. Startled us. We illuminated the staircase, and there was a person coming up from the storage area. We brought him up from the storage area stairways, which was very treacherous to walk on, I can remember. Left him with the rest of the team, and Agent Chris Mouse and I went down into the basement. We found very little storage, if at 1 crate of alcohol. We found 2 bedroom areas, the one that I found that I could see through the swinging door in the right rear with personal items around it, and then another full living area with a bed, a mattress, personal items, clothing. There's a picture I have here of a shower. It should be already in evidence. Where there's pictures that were taken by Agent Chris Amalis. A shower curtain in a shower. Yes, it is in evidence.
Yeah.
There was also items like children's maybe play toys or bouncers or like seats for a child. We went upstairs and we started to document his liquor license information. During the course of our action there was a male in a vehicle just outside of the bar, directly outside the front door, a red truck, who was very inebriated, couldn't hold his head up. We knocked on the glass several times to try to gain entry, to talk to this male in reference to him being in front of this bar. He wouldn't open the door. He kept waving us off. Mr. Luna, of course, said that male wasn't in my bar at all. Patrolman actually was able to coax him out of the vehicle and take the keys for the night. That way he couldn't injure anyone involving or with his inebriation. Mr. Luna also told me that he was going to be kicking the tenants out tomorrow, first thing, kicking the tenants out. Kept repeating that. Again, in English, very clear English. There wasn't a time he didn't understand my English. And I'd like to also add that this happened 2 days after this bar was reinstated under protest. And all events occurred in Baltimore City, Maryland.
Okay. Mr. Luna, is there anything that you would like to add? Any questions you have for the detective?
Okay, él está diciendo que ellos entraron, que ellos tocaron, que ellos oyeron voces y después se fue para el lado. Now, before I even explain to him, I just want you to know that he understands English and he speaks it to a certain extent, but I think for him to explain himself fully, it starts getting complicated. But yes, he does understand English.
Okay.
Okay.
So he understood what the detective said.
Tú entendiste todo lo que él habló, ¿verdad?
Un poco, pero okay. Yes.
All, todo.
Pero
Todo lo que él habló. Okay. So the issue is, yes, there was a gentleman down in the basement. He is a friend of the family's. What happened was his wife had put him out. So my husband told him that he could stay for a couple of days until he can get himself situated. In the meantime, that basement.
Yes.
Interpreting what he is saying, like is he saying these words? Or
No,
is he testifying?
she's testifying.
We just need to make that
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
Just
yeah.
so the transcript.
She's
who's saying what. So
I appreciate
Okay, so
that.
I will explain to you and then tell him in Spanish, so that if there's anything he needs to add or take away, then he can tell you.
We can proceed that way. It's a little unusual,
Would
but
you rather he said it first? Okay, okay.
let me hold on. I mean, the goal here is to find out, is to have a better understanding of what happened and why.
Okay.
So however we get to that, I mean, that would be the goal for me, is to
Okay,
understand
okay. So
why
this-
this happened.
Okay, so
But
this-
he's already admitted that it happened.
Yes, that is
And so
true.
what I want to know, and you can ask him this question, but first let me just fix, you don't have any questions of the detective. Is that correct?
No.
All right, so does anyone else have anything to add? Anyone else on this side? All right, I do have one question. What was the level of cooperation here? Once,
Chief
you went
Inspector
in.
Fossler, we were certainly surprised by an individual coming out of the dark at us. I mean, nobody told us. If you want to talk about cooperation, I want to know, and I'm sure the detective wants to know, when there's individuals, when we're involved in some place that's dark, that there's somebody else in there besides us.
Okay.
And that wasn't forthcoming.
Wasn't done, okay. All right, and did you understand that testimony?
Oye, lo que ella le está preguntando si tú cooperaste con ellos. Entonces, él está diciendo que cooperación completamente es que tú le deberías haber dicho que había alguien abajo en el basement, que él subió de la oscuridad y ellos se sorprendieron porque él no sabía que había otra persona abajo en el basement.
La razón que yo no le dije nada, porque ya él se había ido a dormir hacía como más de media hora, 40, 20 minutos. Entonces él, según parece que escuchó, él salió y abrió la puerta del basement. Escuchó a alguien caminando arriba, que no era yo, la mataba yo de security, entonces subió a ver si me pasaba algo.
Okay. So he's saying that at the time when the officers came, this gentleman had already gone down and he had gone to sleep. So when he heard that there was voices and people going on upstairs, that's when he got up to see what was going on, because he knew that the bar was closing and that my husband and the security guard were counting the money and, you know, doing what they had to do. So he as well was surprised to hear that other people were there.
Does your husband understand that the basement area is, according to the liquor license, supposed to be used for storage?
Yes, now, the thing is this, that at the time when he let him stay down there, because we were having storage problems at home, we have a ton of stuff that's stored in the apartment upstairs and some in the basement, and that's where the children's toys and everything come in. We have 9 grandchildren. So that's where some of the stuff that we're not using anymore gets put. So since then, we've cleared out some of the area to help our friend because he's going through this difficult time. So he's up in the apartment now until he can get himself situated and get his own place again.
How long has the basement apartment been there?
It's not really an apartment, it's like a little area, I think. It has like a storage area,
let me
and then it
stop you.
connects like to a little, has like a little room or something.
How long, do you collect rent for that?
No.
Right,
No,
how
no
long
one's ever
has the
used it before.
How long has the bed been in the basement?
There's 2 beds down there. They're
How long
stored.
have the 2 beds been in the basement?
Están esas camas allí abajo.
No, la cama de él estaba, él tenía como una semana que estaba ahí.
About a week and a half.
Okay. And is it still, have the liquor board inspectors been back? If someone could talk to me about what's going on there now.
Agent Chris Amalis, Baltimore City Liquor Board. I received an email from the housing inspector that followed up after this visit, and got an email from the chief inspector saying that all the beds had been removed and the downstairs was cleared out. But I have not personally revisited the location since.
All right. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for the inspector?
No, no.
Yes.
Yo quisiera, yo le prometí a ellos que sí, yo sé que cometí el error y está bien, y yo lo acepto, pero no pensé nunca que era tanto problema, pero le prometí que al otro día yo movía todo de ahí, saqué esa cama totalmente.
He's saying that when they were telling him, he said that he had no idea it was gonna bring like this much of an issue. He just saw it as he was seeing the friends. So when they told him it shouldn't be there, he told them that he was gonna get it out. He was gonna get it out, and he did as soon as he was able.
Y que también llegan la gente de housing, ellos después fueron, inspeccionaron todo, el building y todo.
And he said after the police came, he said that they did come and inspect, and he had done everything that was asked of him.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Jones, do you have any questions?
Oh, sure.
I know you do.
I'm gonna ask you the question, repeat my questions to him.
Okay,
Get the answer from him and give it to me.
okay,
If he clearly understands the question and he want to answer directly, he can.
okay. Él me va a hacer la pregunta, yo te la voy a hacer a ti, tú respondes y después yo se la digo a él.
Okay.
Si tú entiendes bien lo que él te está preguntando, entonces tú
Okay.
se lo responde directamente.
Okay, yes, sir.
Why did it take so long to open the door?
¿Por qué te tardaste tanto en abrir la puerta cuando ellos oyeron hablando en el bar?
Ellos.
Ujú.
Oh, ellos están tocando, ya eran las 2, yo no le abro a nadie después de las 2. Entonces yo, cuando fui a ver y vi que eran la policía, no
Pero
le abrí.
pero ellos no se identificaron cuando tocaron.
No, ellos están
Okay.
tocándome.
Okay.
entonces-
He said that when he heard the knocking, he thought it was customers trying to get in. He said it wasn't until after that he looked through the hole and saw it was the police. So I just asked him, when they knocked, did they not identify themselves as the police? And he said, no, not at that moment. Is that correct?
No, you don't get to ask them
Oh, I'm
questions.
sorry.
You're-
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're just,
All right.
Okay.
yeah.
Ask him, do he know how that property is zoned? What can he use that property for?
Que si tú sabes cómo es que esa propiedad está zonada para utilizarlo.
De bar, para
Ujú.
bar y abajo para el store.
As a bar and storage.
So ask him, did he took a chance on letting somebody live there, knowing that it was a violation, but he took a chance.
Que tú cogiste el riesgo de permitir que alguien se quedara ahí sabiendo que esa zona es más que para bar y storage.
La razón fue que mi amigo, allá mi amigo, perdió su casa y él me dijo, se sentía desamparado y todo. Y yo le dije que yo le di permiso una semana para que estuviera ahí. Y entonces en eso me vino la cosa. Pero no fue que yo lo metí para nada de negocio, nada. Nada
He
de-
said that when his friend came to him desperate, that he had nowhere to go, that he told him that he would give him a week so he can get himself together and that he would try to help him out. So he said in his desperation, he just felt like he was helping his friend. There's no money exchange, there's no rent, there's no nothing. It was just a matter of giving this gentleman someplace to stay because it was a last-minute thing with him and his wife.
Y que abajo se ve bonito, y así, porque antes había un salón ahí, no yo, sino un antes, y antes, por eso se ve así, como que vive alguien, pero no.
Oh,
no vive
he said before he took over the property, that basement part looks like an apartment because I guess it was a salon or something before he took it over. So he said that's why it looks like a living space, but it's not used as a living space, other than for this gentleman when he
Y
stayed.
que la cama que hay parada, que todavía está ahí, fue la que cuando compramos tú y yo la casa, y la tengo ahí, la tengo guardada porque no la he querido botar.
There is one bed down there that's storage, but that's, like I told you, that's stuff that we've taken out of our home and we put storage in there. The same thing for, like, the toys and the things, as the grandchildren have grown up, we've moved it over to there.
Is it clear to him now that
Que
the,
está claro
let me
que tú
finish the
sabes.
question, please.
I'm sorry.
Is it clear to him now that the intended use of that basement is storage only in reference to the liquor products?
Que si tú entiendes ahora que esa propiedad es solamente para ponerle licor allí en el basement.
Sí, pero quisiera, si yo tengo algo, por lo menos porque el basement es grandote, si tengo algo que yo no estoy usando, lo puedo dejar abajo, no se puede.
Oh, so he's saying, yes, he understands that, but since the basement is such a huge basement, he can't use it for any other storage at all? Like what we have there cannot be there either?
Only what is on his liquor license. That's all he can store there.
Okay.
Solo licor.
Okay.
Just curiosity now. If a friend comes to him now and asks him for some assistance in housing, what would he do?
Si ahora viene otra persona y te pregunta que necesitan ayuda inmediatamente, ¿qué tú vas a tener que decir?
No puedo.
That he can't.
Maybe give him some hotel money?
Que le dé dinero para un hotel.
I no got money for nothing. It's low,
All right, I have a question. When the inspector, somehow we got some information that the beds had been removed. Do we know whether or not other stored items have been removed, like children's toys, mattress, et cetera, or is that, do we have details?
Did you go? I'm sorry.
No, I did.
Okay,
He just said that they were satisfied.
they were satisfied.
That's what the email said, that
All
they were
right.
satisfied.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? All right, so I do find the violation. Obviously, you've admitted it. It's clear that the space was used for something other than the liquor storage. I have a question, though. Where do you store your liquor?
In the basement.
In the basement? Because the testimony was that when they came in, there was only one box of liquor that was in the basement.
He had to put in orders.
Oh, so he hadn't,
Yeah, it wasn't fully stored yet, but he put in his orders.
meaning he had,
Yeah, because business is slow, so until he gets really low, he's not ordering, but it's fully stored now.
Okay.
It's been
all right. And where are you storing the liquor?
in the basement.
All right. And what else is in the basement now?
¿Qué más tú tienes en el basement?
Pues
¿Tienes los
tengo-
juguetes y la cama?
No, los juguetes ya los
Ok.
regalé. Tengo escalera, tengo cuando yo trabajaba construcción, tengo
Oh,
unos-
he has
unas
tools,
cosas.
there's still a bed.
Tengo,
He
okay.
gave all the
tengo la
children's
cama,
things away.
la cama que era de nosotros la tengo ahí todavía, o sea que sacarla yo la saco.
And ladders and there's still
So
the
he's
bed.
saying, I have. What do you have? What do you have in the basement?
Those
Ladders.
things that I'm telling you, the
Okay.
ladders, there's a bed, he said he gave away all the toys, and, there's tools, cause he used to do, small home remodeling jobs, so
Mhm.
that stuff is there. And he
Okay.
doesn't work doing that anymore since his surgeries.
Okay.
Can I see a copy of
Is there anyone else that wants to testify? I know that I see this gentleman, but, okay, but the testimony needs to relate to this particular violation. We're not here today to hear about the protest of renewal. It's not related to this? Okay, so I have found the violation. You've admitted it.
Mhm.
It's found. So we need to talk about the penalty. And you were just here in April for protest of renewal, and I remember that was a pretty lengthy hearing and a lot of back and forth on that. You were here November 2016 for a violation for prohibited hours. At that point, you were fined $2,500 plus the fee. And then, of course, you were here in August of 2014 for a number of violations with respect to prohibited hours, and the penalty was $3,500. So you've been here a lot. And every time you're here, the issue is there's a level of cooperation that's lacking. And that's, you can explain that to him.
Ella dice que tú has venido ya muchas veces aquí delante de ellos y que ellos ven que tú no estás cooperando con las leyes de la liquor board.
Yeah, give me one.
He has a letter from Greetown, from the community, stating that since he's been here, that he's been cooperating with the laws and stuff, but.
Mire, yo siempre estoy cooperando.
Okay.
I'll consider it,
Ahora-
but I think the chief would like to say something, then we'll.
Quiere hablar.
Commissioners, I didn't want to bring, because it involves the protest of renewal from last time and directives that were given by the board, if you want to hold this in abeyance until you make your decision, or issue, and then I'll explain it to you, or do you want me to explain it now?
I'm not sure. I'm not remembering what you're talking about.
Okay. At the time, Mr. Luna was directed by the board to engage with the community in a memorandum of understanding. That we had, and we received several communications from Leland Davis out of Jack Young's office that was involved with the Greek Community Association, and
But in his capacity as the president of the association.
that's right.
not
That's correct. As
for the
in his
president.
capacity as representative of the Greektown Community Association, and they were having difficulty engaging in communication with Mr. Luna up until just recently.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
if he's presenting that he's signing a memorandum of understanding.
Okay, let's see what you're talking about.
And
All right. So what you've handed me is a memorandum of understanding between Greater Greektown Neighborhood Alliance and Casa Luna Sports Bar. It says it's dated July 2017, which is this month. And it looks like it's signed by Jose Luna and Liam Davis, president of Greater Greektown. And it deals with hours of operation, sound levels, interior sanitation, exterior sanitation, and that this is, there's an agreement that this will be attached to the liquor license. Is staff aware of this?
We were in communications with Julio Cervantes from Zeke Cohen's office, and there was a conversation that they were going to sit down with Mr. Luna and sign a memorandum of understanding. This is the first time that the agency has seen the document, memorandum of understanding, and Mr. Luna, it seems like, is engaged and signed that document of his own free will and would like it attached to the license.
Okay.
Y también traigo, él es el nuevo, que él también está de acuerdo, que sabe que todo está operando. Sí.
Oh, he's just saying that this is a neighbor that is aware of him doing what's needed to be done with the bar so that he can go according to the laws of running this bar.
Okay. Is this a copy for us to keep, or do you have a copy?
¿Esa es la original?
La original.
That's the original. You would need to make a copy.
All right, we'll make a copy and give it back to you. Okay. So here's my thinking. There's such a long history of violations and not cooperating and problems. You were here in April for process of renewal, and I remember that was a pretty difficult hearing. Your license is very clear that the bar, the license applies to the basement area. You're only supposed to use that basement area for storage for the liquor operations. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you had set up an apartment. You've admitted that. So by your own admission, I mean, you've violated that part of your license. And so we found the violation. I would impose a period of closure, 1 week, and a fine of $2,500. Why?
Are you finished, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Dile, yo no traje abogado porque tengo cero money. El negocio está nothing. I can't pay. I can't close. I can't nothing. Please.
The thing is, business has been like so bad, so slow.
What do we?
$2,500 is going to be like devastating.
Dile que tú me tienes que ayudar a mí cada rato por la renta. No tengo money para pagar la renta. No tengo nada.
So you're saying you don't have any money? Let me ask you this honestly: were you renting this space so that you would make money off the space?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you honey, but no.
No, it's okay. I've been called worse.
This was just definitely to help out a friend that was in need. I mean, you know, he was thrown out by his wife, and he begged him to help him, and so my husband said he would help him out, you know, till he could get situated.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I'm looking at the long list of violations, and it bothers me that you just got your establishment back recently, and you were given a fresh start. And then you went forward to rent out, well, to allow someone to live in the basement where you're supposed to have accessory storage. That's a violation, clearly a violation. You took a chance on that. You put your liquor license against the friendship, and you got caught. Let me finish, sir. So I see where you've been fined before for similar stuff. And I have no other choice but to concur with my fellow commissioner, because obviously you don't have it yet. You don't understand that it's very important. It's a privilege to have a liquor license. And when that privilege is granted to you, you have to treat it as such, and you haven't done so. I feel for you, but we must also enforce the law. I concur.
Okay. Yo pido miles de disculpas, y yo lo prometí que lo cambiaba y limpié, saqué esa cama de una vez de ahí. Yo pido mil disculpas, pero quiero que por favor me ayuden. No puedo cerrar, no tengo dinero para pagar, pero todo ese dinero, todo. Pero I don't know.
He's saying that he's very sorry for this infraction, for this, what has happened, but to close it and a fine is just, I mean, he's gonna lose it.
It could be appealed.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the right to appeal. I'll tell you, I mean, I empathize. I would reduce it to $2,000, but I'm not going to. I still feel the period of closure is appropriate, because I don't think you take us seriously, and that's what's so hard. That is what is so difficult. I mean, you can't keep coming back and coming back. And you know what happened that night? The only thing you were charged with was the, sanitation and safety. There were many other things that you could have and probably should have been charged with that night. But it was just the sanitation and safety.
Me puede dejar no cerrado, por favor, a ver si puedo.
Ella dijo que no puede, because lo primero es que tú eres culpable, ya tú has admitido que sí, que tú dejaste quedar and send you light in the basement. So eso es ya, tú tienes culpa.
Sí, pero no lo va a mentir.
Por culpa, uno tiene que pagar cuando uno es culpable.
Would you go with the 2,000 or? All right, so the fine, we're willing to reduce the fine to $2,000, the 1 week closure.
No.
And I'm sorry, I empathize, but.
How long does he have to pay that?
He has 30 days to pay. And you can file you can appeal, or you can file a motion to reconsider. Here's the issue. By law, we can't go more than 30 days. It's the impact that you're not operating within the law. And I don't want to give this lecture, but you're not operating within the law. Because you don't operate within the law, you're putting all of these men at risk and the community. And we can't, as a board, we're responsible as a board, we're charged to look out for public safety and interest. And when someone keeps coming back and coming back and coming back, and they're not understanding the seriousness of the responsibilities of the board, it's difficult. Believe me, it's not pleasant. This is the part of the job that nobody likes. But, you've done things that put so many people at risk, and it's all because of your business operations, and we can't ignore it. Were we to ignore it, we would get pushed back on the other side, and I feel like sort of hit it down the middle with the 1-week closure. We've closed people for a whole lot longer for less, okay?
When does the close?
It'll start tonight or tomorrow, whenever they can pick up the license, and it'll be for 7 days. And in that time, if you want to submit a motion to reconsider or an appeal, we will consider that. But for now, the decision is made, and we're going to conclude for the day, and hopefully we will see what happens. Okay, you can sit down. Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right.
The board is in recess until 11 a.m.
I've got exhibits to call. I apologize, just exhibits to call, and Madam Chair, just for the record, I have to have an effective date. I know you said today or tomorrow.
Oh, effective date today.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. And for the record, just calling the exhibits. Exhibit number 1 is an investigation report drafted by Chief Mark Foster. Exhibit number 2, Detective Gatto's police report. And exhibit number 3, a copy of the use and occupancy permit for location 500 South Lehigh. I also have licensee exhibit number 1, a memorandum of understanding between the licensee and the Greater Greektown Neighborhood Alliance, which is now going to be attached to his license.
Okay, and I'd like just to confirm that that is in fact the memorandum of understanding. If we could just get confirmation from Mr. Davis that that is his authentic signature, please.
Okay.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the board is in recess until 11 a.m. Thursday, August the 3rd, 2017.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everyone.